Lyn Alden highlights the tremendous growth in monetary expansion as well as food and commodity problems. For a long time, costs have been deflating due to globalization, but that is now coming to a stop. Hedonic changes are included in the CPI measurements, which conceal part of the inflation into items. Lyn Alden then will answer different questions concerning the Bitcoin and tech stocks. This video is brought to you by Answerly, a question platform that pays you for adding high-quality answers on different questions. The users are rewarded in Answerly tokens, which they can easily convert into dollars or any other cryptocurrency by using one of the exchanges mentioned in the description. Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about why Lyn Alden chose Bitcoin over tech stocks. If you're a person who is knowledgeable about Bitcoin and want to know why choose Bitcoin over others, then this video really suits you. So without further ado, let's get started. Lyn Alden has spent several years focusing on energy policy. He believes it will be very crucial to observe because the degree to which we have energy shortages or absence thereof will be very significant for overall inflation, which would then be very essential for all kinds of other policies and alternative investments. Lyn Alden saw Bitcoin as a currency that could be used for both growth and profitability. In some ways, she sees it as a hybrid of gold and technology stocks. On the one hand, many seem to believe that this technology will continue to increase market share in some form. There's still work being done on the environment, as well as layer 2 technologies. Even on the foundation layer, such as taproot, improvements are continuously taking place. People are adopting technology in an S-curve pattern. Which category does Bitcoin fall into for Lyn? Do you see it as a growth or value play, or does it sort of straddle both? On the other hand, it's large enough that some see it as a partial inflation hedge, particularly since it's not only the United States. There are places with inflation rates ranging from 20 to 40% currently. Majority of these folks rather opt to buy Bitcoin as a component of their portfolio if they have access to it. Therefore, she saw it as having the financial element of gold while also being a technology stock. Furthermore, it's a unique kind of danger return than gold because gold has a 5,000-year history of being a store of wealth, while Bitcoin is only 13 years old and you're betting on its potential to commercialize and achieve whichever potential market it really can. But before we dive deeper, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now for you to be enlightened about the crucial information that's in connection to Bitcoin. To keep going, there are two approaches that are quite distinct, but Lyn believes they complement one another in a collection. As a result, there may be a time period where gold outperforms their period of time or when Bitcoin outperforms their amount of time. It also relies on how much volatility a person desires in their portfolio. What are the dangers with Bitcoin right now, given that the last time it reached an all-time high, it plummeted? And given the introduction of a Bitcoin Exchange Traded Fund or ETF, does this indicate that the SEC favors Bitcoins, and does this contribute to the positive case for it? So the Bitcoin ETF is not something that Lyn would invest in just because it's dependent on teachers and she doesn't like commodity ETFs that are based on expectations. It does, however, indicate that the individual is more receptive to it. The SEC chair, for example, has described Bitcoin as a valuable development. Other sorts of crypto assets that are more related to stocks have gotten him more upset. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is categorized as a commodity because it fails the Howey security requirement. Furthermore, Lyn Alden believes that individuals are seeing more indicators of preferential coverage, at least to some level, for Bitcoin, which indicates the vast pools of capital that it's relatively safe to buy in a regulatory sense. It's not cheap, but it's rather safe in relation to regulatory certainty. That is unimportant to smaller investors. They simply began to obtain it despite the SEC's judgment. While enormous pools of money can't afford to put $1 billion in with something only to be told the institution can't hold it or that they must sell it at a disadvantageous moment when other institutions are trading as well. As a result, the more regulatory clarification they receive from the Fed, which has practically stated they have no interest in becoming crypto, the better. Powell made that assertion. When individuals gain greater certainty from the SEC, it eventually becomes useful. The Treasury Department and Congress have yet to provide any clarity on the matter. However, there are now Bitcoin bulls in the senator's residence, for example. So in general, Lyn Alden believes that it has come to a point which has achieved a critical mass that these more institutional sorts of investments are engaged with. Furthermore, she added that one of the hazards moving forward is that Bitcoin is exceedingly and incredibly volatile. Bitcoin might drop 20% or more between the time this is written and the time it's posted. It's still a highly volatile commodity, and it's still trying to figure out what its overall addressable market is. Individuals witnessed more than a 50% clarification earlier this year, with most people estimating it to be between 50 and 60% lower than this is all high. As a consequence, it's a very volatile asset. It was considering banning it outright, which would have resulted in their banking system cutting off their financial system, but the Supreme Court intervened. Then there was discussion in Congress about banning all possessions of it, but that never happened, and now it's being revisited, so governments are flip-flopping on it. However, there are still certain nations where legal certainty is lacking. So why do you think owning a large amount of Bitcoin is better to owning any tech stock? When individuals search tech stocks these days, especially the FANG stocks, according to Lyn Alden, many of them aren't developing as quickly as they once were. They've amassed a sizable share of the market, and they're gradually transforming into equities, despite the fact that they're already really costly. That's a consideration. When it comes to development companies in general, many of them are just overvalued. When you keep comparing them to revenues or profits, which aren't scarce, it's a different story. So, if they're highly regarded, the CEO can give extra stock of that company to raise funds and try to just go quicker so that people invested into something that doesn't have a financial premium. The company's stock is plentiful. Bitcoin, on the other hand, can grow to be greater than any given firm since it's not assessed in terms of earnings or sales, but rather in terms of its utility as money. Fundamentally, all money is merely a series of accounting records that we have grounds to suppose are safe and that no one will contribute to or remove from. As a result, when individuals search for Bitcoin's acceptance, it's far sooner on the curve than many of today's large tech equities. Also, it's not like the total number of Bitcoins available can't adjust to demand, so it's not like there aren't any Bitcoin CEOs who will claim that there's a lot of interest in Bitcoin. Let's generate another 5 million Bitcoins to meet all of this demand for equities, such as Tesla or any of the various forms of growth companies. People cannot do so with Bitcoin because it is a monetary good. In some nations, it's utilized as cash as well as a collateral. It's a distinct bundle than tech companies in general since it's worldwide and doesn't have a lot of supplier flexibility. And Lyn would be in that strange position of becoming more value-oriented. Also, Bitcoin is bullish, but many people who enjoy Bitcoin also like the Teslas and growth companies of the world, despite the fact that there are a few traders who are more worried about strong growth equity prices. However, they are bullish in Bitcoin as well, because they conceptualize the two as intersecting but distinct buckets. With all the explanation and reasoning discussed by Lyn Alden, people who are interested in Bitcoin definitely gain substantial information that'll help them go through the world of Bitcoin. What are your learnings on the discussion made by Lyn Alden? Let us know your thoughts about this video in the comment section below. If you like this video, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to this channel. To learn more about Answerly and Answerly tokens, check out the links in the description.